you have lived as a doormat and you're ready to step in your ultimate diva essence, then listen up, queen. I'm Roya Allegra. I'm on my own spiritual journey. I'm here to guide you into yours as well. The topic today is from doormat to diva. At my core, have been the biggest diva my whole life. I grew up being a diva. I was a diva in my teenage years, and slowly but surely, the natural order of distortions in life caused me to chip away and try to become a servant towards others' insecurities and egos. Therefore, I became a doormat. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 behaviors of a doormat and 5 behaviors of a diva. From yours truly, a diva. And I've known that I'm a diva my whole life, specifically because I've always chosen to radiate the energy of celebration to all of those around me, men and women. I've always derived into the focus of love and celebration and shining light on literally everyone around me. And I did not know that because I was such a shining light in this way, I was actually attracting a lot of insecure people that eventually tried to use this as a way to tear me down. And I've really been so dishonest with myself about this fact my whole life, because I have lived with really thick rose-colored lenses on. And I refuse to see it. I refuse to ever acknowledge that women have been specific ways with me, that they've created friction with me for no reason. And it's kind of funny that I even say that, because I just have really the craziest stories with women, and I still love them. I am a space holder for women's healing. I am in women's work, and I adore women to my core. I always see their light. I always see their beauty and their love, and this is just who I am. But I was very naive by choice at some point from my past, trauma and distortions that led me to why I kept attracting frenemies or women that were secretly jealous of me or abrasive towards me. And it wasn't until a huge falling out and eruption that I would be like, okay, on to the next friend. But I kept kind of staying in this cycle of attracting women that have done some very questionable things to me, that even involved violence sometimes, to be honest. Like, to be very, very real, like, I've gotten to the point where I was in physical danger, where police had to be called, and like crazy unstable things. Can't even get into the detail, but we're just gonna get into the video. Okay, so what is a doormat? Make sure you can self-reflect and see if any of these apply to you in any way, shape, or form. So the number 1 encoding of a doormat is the ultimate people pleaser. So a people pleaser is here and a doormat is here, because a people pleaser is maybe just someone who is trying to stay afloat at work, and you just know how to like charm people in a certain way. And so like maybe you accept plans when you didn't really want to. So that's like people pleaser level. And then a doormat level is when you pretty much have no self-identity, because it literally just relies upon trying to get people to like you, to serving other people. Doormat is so busy to serve others or serve her romantic partner just to be liked, or even worse, to be loved. When you're a doormat in the name of love, this is the most dangerous place you can be in life, because you are tearing away at your self-identity, your self-worth, and like everything that makes you beautiful. You're literally putting it in someone else's hand and letting them chip away at you. And essentially you become nothing. And guess what? Most men or most people want to walk away from that, because in a way, you're not going to be able to serve them anymore because you don't even have your radiant light. So they kind of just like feed off of it, eat you up, spit you out, and like then they just want to leave. And so that is the true danger of becoming a doormat and not really attaining to your standards and your worth and like the beauty that is you. Number 2 thing that a doormat does is placing her romantic endeavors over her passions. Again, they all tie into each other, but like this is especially dangerous because when you don't have passions and your own self-love at the forefront of your life, well then you don't have an innate stability within yourself, and it's almost like your nervous system is relied upon someone else's actions because you have pretty much in a way self-abandoned and become reliant on someone else's attention or affection or the way that they're treating you. So this can look like a girl who really just abandons all her friends and her social life and even her close friends because she'd rather just be around her partner 24/7, doing the things that he enjoys doing, and almost to the point where she's in his life, but he is not really in her life because her life became his life. And I believe in divine union. I think divine union is actually the most important thing in life because it creates harmonious families, which harmonious families create harmonious children, and then we have peace on earth, right? But divine union cannot necessarily happen when a woman doesn't have her passions and self-identity before anything else. When you are just wallowing and following around a man in life, actually come off as desperate. When you lose your passions, when you lose your friendship circles, when you lose like the closeness that you once had with women, you actually exude desperation whether or not your chakras are aligned, okay? It's really easy to actually see when somebody is desperate for love and attention. And girl, trust me, I have been there, and it is not cute. It eats away at your looks. It eats away at, of course I went for looks first, but actually this is not the biggest issue at all. Like, it eats away at your self-worth, therefore your charisma, and therefore your hobbies, and it's just gonna come eat away at everything until you're as flat as a doormat. 3 of the doormat archetype is that she's a shapeshifter. She configurates and navigates life through being a shapeshifter, but not in a spiritual way, from a place of being in lack. So she is willing to forfeit and configure and sacrifice what makes her her. She thinks she has to earn a place of love and respect in this world. I understand that there are specific sacrifices in relationships like that are not going to change the core of your identity though. So once it gets to that point of like removing things that genuinely lit up your soul in order to like place so much energy and time into another person, and this can go for friendships as well. In the name of friendship, this would look like you muting yourself and distorting yourself in order to not make that person feel insecure. Now, this isn't like, oh, I'm gonna just like stand in front of my friend and boast about how amazing it's like having this balance, right, of awareness within yourself, of like being humble, but also owning, which we'll get to that, owning your celebrations. Okay, queen, like you do not have to dim the light. And that is what people are talking about when they're saying dim the light. It's when you have this like apprehension towards being your radiant self because you're more focused on how that's going to make someone feel rather than just being in your light. Ultimately, being a shape-shifting doormat it comes from the core belief that you are not enough. There's something in you that gets off on the idea that you don't really matter and you're not enough and you have to earn like basic human decency, which is respect and love. You've already kind of lost your identity from the previous step. So now you feel like you're at the place of lack and you have to grab onto anything in desperation in order to shapeshift as this reptilian character of something that is finite and not your genuine self. Like putting yourself as a character in a role for a movie that you didn't even effing write, okay? Number 4 is that the doormat obsesses over others' actions. And this can look in many different ways. She takes everything so personal that it's not even just about being offended. It's just she automatically assumes that that is truth about her character. And I definitely used to do this with like friendships and lovers that were close to me. I just assumed that like the reflection of their trigger was accurate because I am willing to take accountability in my life and I am willing to up level and like clean up the debris of anything that I could be causing someone. And so because I have that mentality, I just assumed that they were right. And this was actually not the proper way, because you also have to look at their own journey and where they're at spiritually, and are they seeing things clearly? Are they seeing it through a wounded lens that has like, you know, kind of distorted the actual genuine truth of you? And when you don't know who you truly are, then these opinions and these misconceptions of others that may be close to you, that may not be close to you, and we all know that even family can have distortions about you and who you are, which is probably some of the most hurtful, because they should know you, right? At least on some better level than trying to assume that you're trying to harm people. It's genuinely placing deeper value of what others are saying about you rather than who you are. And it's the obsession of playing those thought patterns in their mind, of feeling bitter over it, feeling like your day is ruined over it, like being over emotional. And it's not to say go to be desensitized. No, a diva is not desensitized. That's not the point. We'll get there, don't worry. It's really just like when someone deeply betrays you, it's not a reflection of who you are, baby. I've had people get so angry at me because of triggers they made up in their own mind, where they have turned a lot of people against me. And all in all, I was at a desperate point to be loved by that person. But like at the end of the day, as years went by, I knew that I did everything I possibly could have done right and proper to unconditionally love that soul, that even to the point where they were still angry at me, I still loved them because I was like, yeah, like I know your past and I know your wounds, so I can see why they took you to that level of creating this story against me that doesn't actually exist. And this is not to bypass people's feelings or not to take accountability. No, this is beyond that. And if you know, you just know what I'm talking about. So in the name of keeping this video somewhat short, the last one, number 5, of what a doormat acts out and plays out in her life is blaming everyone else for her feelings of inadequacy. Thinking that everyone's actions need to be aligned in order for her to feel good, which this is not true. You have to be connected to your own pleasures and joy and abundance and opportunity in life and your own alignment in order for your life to feel good. It is not reliant upon others' actions. To her completely to take full accountability of shifting out of negative patterns. No one gets to hold your hand and leads you to that depth of inner work. It truly has to be yourself that gets there. Of course, this is where you find support systems and you find people that you can reflect with, and even professionals or life coaches or gurus or so forth, like someone you trust and has a very balanced view of life that can reflect those patterns and help you override them. Doormats are actually probably just inverted divas at the end of the day, and they probably are just so powerful. She's reflective of every aspect of her life, not just one, not just, oh, I'm gonna focus on my looks or I'm gonna focus on my finances. No. She focuses on everything, the inner and the outer world. Another element that can be tied into blaming everyone for how you feel is also trying to mother everyone and dictate how they could be living their lives better. And this year, I finally realized I was playing that for sure. I was like not even taking my own advice, but giving the best advice and not really applying it to myself, because I'm just like a natural guide. I am someone that people have sought out for advice from and to vent to, and like that is so beautiful, but I also wasn't giving a lot of that reflective energy completely to myself first. And I can see the paths in other people so clearly of how they can up level and what structures are a little bit weak and what structures are really strong in them. I just like naturally have this ability. I didn't realize that like not everyone is that way. I was like using and channeling that power on everyone else all the time. Instead of giving it back to myself, baby. But thankfully I have cleared that and I've set that boundary within myself. Okay, so if you've made it this far in the video, good freaking job. Proud of you. Leaps and bounds, baby, leaps and bounds. So what is a diva? I think everyone conceptualizes a diva as someone who just like is like kind of the Sharpay Evans archetype in High School Musical, who's kind of snotty and bratty to everyone and like just appears unbothered but is actually really dramatic. That's not a diva. A diva doesn't appear unbothered, actually. She's actually okay with expression of disdain, not in a dramatic way, which I've had to learn how to clear that one too, but she's okay with the expression of disdain. Number one thing that a diva is that she owns herself. She owns her desires, she owns her flaws, she owns her beauty, and she even owns her perfection. And yes, I said perfection, which a lot of people think doesn't exist, but there are parts of you that are so perfect, babes. Like, there are parts of you that others admire so deeply because they haven't fully activated that specific resonance in themselves yet. And it's okay to think that parts of you are perfect. And it's not in the like bypassing kind of way. It's in the you're gonna effing own it kind of way. Her heart is for her. All of it. All of it. All of that she is for her. It's not to entertain anyone. It's not to put in someone else's hands to let them like marionette style puppet them around. No. All of it is for her, first and foremost. Number two is that she naturally falls away from anyone that has a low quality life or low standards for themselves. It's just what happens naturally. She wants to have reflections of people around her that she can actually grow from and up level with, and be able to reflect so deeply with, because this is her level of depth within her. So she just naturally falls away from more surface level experiences with people because she wants a very deep, enriched life. She doesn't have to make a big deal and like claim this statement. She doesn't have to like exert her boundaries verbally. She just is her boundaries. That's it. Like when a guy like steps out of line, she's not like a diva is not sending 10 paragraph text messages of how he hurt her, or even admitting a lot of the times that he did. And I'm obviously not talking about your husband. That's like a different story, and I can't really give advice on having a husband because I don't have one. So I'm talking about like men that you're trying to date or like whatever. Like, you're not going to be sending these long text messages. A diva is just like, oh, I see. I see you and I accept you for all that you are, but not so closely linked in my reality. Thank you very much. Like, thank you for showing me who you are. I release you. That's what a diva does. Just feeling that sting within, sure, because her heart is so open and vast and vivacious. Like, you are really in tune with your feelings, but do those people really even deserve your feelings? Like, were their standards and their presence in your life so high that like they deserve the emotional feminine openness that you're trying to offer them, even with a reflection? And yeah, I'm not saying to like always be ghosting people. No, it's a natural progression of just falling away, falling back. With grace, of course. Number 3, which is probably one of the most important, if not the core essence of what a diva really is. Her aura, her essence, naturally uplifts people. It's not with effort, it's just her beauty and reflection naturally mirror other people's beauty and where they are excelling in life. And just being around her, she actually uplifts people. Like, it's just something about the magnetism within her that she just naturally extracts and draws out love, beauty, unbotheredness, celebration, like all of these divine nectar of sensations in life are just what she pulls out of people without really trying. Around her, your looks may up level, your lifestyle may up level, your standards might up level, because she is this like configuration of a diva. And you're like, damn, okay, so I see the way she treats herself, and maybe I want to take inspiration from it. And it's not copying, it's not like she stole this from me. You can't steal anything from a diva. She's actually untouchable. She's so aware of this power that she protects it. Yes, that's the most important thing. Her actual existence is a portal to the divine feminine essence, and people can feel it when she walks into a room. People just naturally know. I think the dutiful responsibility at the other end of this is to be aware of this. Be humble, but do not be so humble that you keep ending up in these situations, okay, baby? Number 4 of being a diva is that every aspect of her life is in alignment, or she's actively doing the inner work every day to create that source of alignment. So she is not overlooking anything. That's what I call creating a soul tie with your higher self. So we don't need no soul ties with any karmic exes or any karmic ex-besties. Like, we don't need soul ties with this, with toxic family members. Why are you like letting your soul tie energy like coincide with that, when you can simply create a soul tie with your highest self and God, of course, like having that deep, profound, spiritual, active conversation, active prayer daily, like attuning to your spiritual self. This is how you can shine light on the areas that you can up-level and shift, which takes so much courage, because of course we want to be in our comfortability, and we want to not really have to change because we want to be warm and fuzzy in our wounds sometimes. But no, a diva knows how to let go. And all this inner work leads her to her duty, her purpose, her soul work, and eventually her divine alignment. Okay, so number 5 is that her standards are so high, and not in a materialistic way. Standards are so high in a way that she keeps energies of people who don't tend to their own voids away. Very deeply compassionate for all beings and all souls in this life. She truly wants all souls to be free and to be loved and experience safety, but it will not be at the expense of her own peace. She chooses a peaceful life every day, a restful nervous system. She is her ultimate divine masculine protector, first and foremost, and she is the Shakti rising of experiencing all her passions and pleasures at the same token, but doing so safely, not being drawn by danger, not being enticed or seduced by darkness. Like, you can have the inklings and awareness of these shadow elements of you, but this doesn't rule your reality. You're not succumbing to them any longer. You're not enticed or attracted to that kind of form of low vibrational entertainment. Her standards are so high because she is familiar with her voids. She is familiar with her shadows. She's actually befriended them and loves every element of them. And that is probably why you've accepted so many shadowy, voidful people in your life, because you assumed they were doing the same work and the same path. But that might not actually be true, babes. You really gotta reflect on if people are going the same place as you are. A diva is simply a woman who has it all. Her life is whole, her essence is rich, and it may be challenging at first because of the natural distortions we face in life that we have to pull through as our soul journey continues to rise. But eventually it's all going to come so naturally that you are actually shocked that you could have ever lived a different way before. So sure of this new path that, like, you honor the old path, but you're also like, damn girl, no wonder you were stressed. A diva really sticks to her truth so profusely that everything else naturally burns away. And I'm so proud of you if you like stuck through this whole video, and I'm sure at least some of it resonated with you, and I'm so grateful to even just be on either a little part or a big part of your journey. Like, all of it makes me feel so grateful. And I am just sending you so much love and blessings for you to release that doormat energy, the people pleaser of it all. Like, let's do some transmutation, girl. It is time. If you clicked on this video, it is truly time. Like, your soul is just awaiting for that alchemy, babes. I am sending you, I don't know if I already said it, but I'm again sending you so much love. Like, I want to see all women rise. I want to see women live in their true destiny. Mwah.